Most people in the Armory are losing money before they even redeem a single star. And that's because there's multiple ways in which you can trade smarter, not harder, in the Armory. Welcome back to the Armory Report. I'm your host, Mike Water9. This is a series in which we do, every few weeks, take a look at ROIs, take a look at the state of the Armory, if there's any good opportunities that may present themselves to us, etc. Now, addressing one thing. There's a lot of fat, fucking dumbass CS goblins chatting shit, saying that I like to pump and dump on my viewers' heads. Alright, watch this. I will just give vague suggestions, and everything will still come true. I don't need to pump and dump on my viewers' heads to make money. I know more than you. I look better than you. I fuck better than you. And there's nothing you can do about it. And that makes you mad. So hopefully chatting that shit makes you feel a little bit better. But just know, me and my boys are winning together. Armory down 1% on the week by looking at the index. Market's down a little bit more than that. So the Armory is faring well. Theoretically, if you have another high conviction play, you can rotate out of the Armory and into another play. Everyone freezes when they see red. That's the wrong thing to do. When you see red, you buy. That means it's on sale. With the market down, ROIs for everything decreases. But the ROI doesn't tell the full story. And that's because there's a lot of edges that you can find and manipulate and take advantage of in the Armory. And one of them happens even before you redeem your stars. One star costs 40 cents. But what if you can lower that? Well, you can. And it's a simple process. It costs you your time, but it only costs you your time once. Now, in a perfect, efficient market, third-party sites, the prices of the guns, skins, everything should be 85% of what they are on Steam. And that's because Steam has the 15%. That's almost never the case, though. It's a scattered market. A lot of the items are illiquid in this market. So often you see gaps of 20, 30, 40% if you're lucky. That's free money sitting right there in front of your face. So I go and buy item A for $1. I buy 100 of them. So I spent $100 and now I have 100 of item A. I go on Steam and I see that item A is worth $1.50. I wait 7 days and then I sell all 100 of my item A. After Steam tax, I have $1.28 per item. Times 100, that's $128. So I made $28 just by waiting a week. Now you only have to wait a week once, because you could just do 100 every day, theoretically, and after 7 days, you would then have just a constantly incoming supply. So, since you spent $100 to get $128, your Armory Pass is not worth $16 anymore. It's effectively worth $12.50. And now 1 star is not worth 40 cents, it's worth 32. Now I know I have a lot of younger viewers who are interested in getting into investing, and I'm glad you're here. This is a great connection to exterior markets. This is called arbitrage. It is a valid trading strategy, and all you're doing is finding price discrepancies between two markets. It's much harder to do in the currency markets, stock markets, whatever it may be, because there's way more traders, and price movements are usually much less volatile than a CS skin. What all that means for you is that it's going to be easier in this market. And I say easier in this market because eventually these price discrepancies go away. If you eat up all the supply on third parties and then sell it off on Steam, well, price should go up here and price should go down here, then they reach equilibrium and you're shit out of luck. And then you have to go find a new play. But there usually is always a play. So now each star costs 32 cents. And it compounds because of market psychology. Because a star is worth 40 cents, that's the threshold for most items in the Armory. A sticker is worth 1 star. Look at the purple rarities in the sticker collection. The desirable ones, they're above 40 cents. The non-desirable ones, they're below 40 cents, right? That's a huge boundary. That's usually where your desirable and undesirable separate. But now with a lower basis, since you have a lower basis, some of those undesirable skins now make you a profit. So your profit percentages shoot up. And now you're cooking with gas. That's layer 1 before we even enter the Armory. Capital efficiency, baby. And now we go into the Armory. Because even if we don't do arbitrage and we just buy the Armory for its face value, some ROIs can be misleading still. And that's because of how skins and guns and charms drop in CS2. So the Sport and Field collection. At the top, you have the M4 Fade, obviously. Now there's 1,000 patterns for each gun. 100 of those 1,000 patterns result in a 95% or over fade percentage. As we know, those command overpay. And then after you get the gun, you have a 10% chance of getting a more valuable gun. Well, that increases your ROI. What else increases your ROI? Floats. Super low floats are going to command more overpay. We got the equation a couple days ago. There's a 3% chance it's going to be under 0.0056. So that'll increase ROI a little bit less because you only have a 3% chance of that hitting as opposed to the 10, but it does increase ROI. And then you have the chance that both of them hit and you get a high fade, low float one. And that's a super high amount of overpay. and increases your ROI as well. So be careful with guns in the armory that have patterns, because they're typically not accounted into ROI calculation. So say you do the math for every single thing in the armory, and 2 collections are tied for number 1 for having the best ROI. Which one do you go with? Well, you're going to go with the one that has more pattern-based skins, because it might be a minuscule amount of ROI, but it's more ROI nonetheless. Commercial break. Today's video has been sponsored by the lovely ladies and gentlemen over at SkinsMonkey.com. SkinsMonkey is the industry standard trading forum and marketplace for anything and all things Counter-Strike. 24/7 support and an instant trading system so fast, those Bulgarian overpay goblins are sure to go out of business. Now, if that's not enough incentive, throw my code Mike in on the website for $5 off on your first trade. But if you trade up to $100 on the website, they'll double your bonus from 5 to 10. Now, if you don't have any skins and I just gave you some free game on investment advice, you could deposit money and use the website as a marketplace as well. In that case, my code Mike will net you a 5% deposit bonus, bringing it from 30 to 35%. So go get swagged out, courtesy of SkinsMonkey.com. Alright, so we're set up for success right now. You've now lowered your cost basis for getting a seat at the armory table, and now you understand that some tiers have hidden value. Now here's how to rotate capital when the armory is getting a serious amount of attention when updates drop. We have a precedent to look at, and it's the graphic design collection. So far, that's the only skin collection that's been discontinued from the armory. The price movements there are going to be more drastic because it was the first instance of an armory collection being discontinued, but we should expect the same shape of the line, just not as, wide in magnitude. We'll choose a random gun, AK Crossfade, factory new. When the discontinuation was announced, $6. A few hours after the discontinuation news, 19, so 3.16x, cool. What about the field tested crossfade? $2 to 350, so a 1.5x. Not bad, can't complain, but not as good as factory new. Logically though, why would that happen? Why is there such a big difference? Field tested has a higher drop rate than factory new. Thus, there's more supply of field tested than there is factory new. And these price spikes upon discontinuation are caused by panic. So when you have panic buyers flooding the market, it's much easier for panic to spike the price of a low supply weapon as opposed to a high supply weapon. Thus, field tested does not enjoy the same gains as factory new does upon discontinuation. So if you cannot afford a factory new red or a factory new pink, you get a factory new purple, multiple factory new purple, or multiple factory new blues. Don't go for the field tested pink. On top of that, blues and purples benefit the most from that news as well. They're cheaper, more people can buy, which just increases your pool of panic buyers, and they're spiking the fuck out of factory new. Once you sell upon that news to those panic buyer idiots, let them hold the bag, you can then take your capital and move it in to the pinks and reds, as those tend to grow percentage wise over time better than blues and purple. But blues and purples benefit the most from discontinuation news, which gives you a specific rotation play. Factory new blues and purples. Collection gets discontinued, sell. Take money, rotate into factory new pinks and reds from the same collection. Then enjoy long-term gains. There's definitely going to be one collection discontinued, maybe 2. The best option is to diversify all of your funds across the 3 collections. That way, you're not missing out if your collection that you put all your money in doesn't get discontinued. The only one that kind of terrifies me is the Sport and Field collection. It is the most redeemed, and if it doesn't get discontinued right now in the next update, then of course prices in the short term are going to, decrease. But on top of that, another 6 months of it being in the rotation, it's going to increase supply, and once it gets discontinued, that path to high gains is not going to be very quick, right? Eventually it'll happen, but it's not going to be a fast road to success. The Overpass collection has been in the armory the same amount of time as the Sport and Field, but if that one stayed instead of Sport and Field, it wouldn't be as, detrimental to the collection's long-term prospects, because the fade is 97% chance factory new. Mike Water9 theorem, bitch. AKB the monster, 0 to 1, so 3% chance of factory new. So long-term, that supply isn't going to get super inflated. Just something to keep an eye on. Now, stickers scare me a little bit. The elemental will probably leave almost 100%, all but confirmed. But since they are consumable, there is not a database available to us in which we can take a look at the supply for what it is. We can only look at application rates and then make an educated guess as to what the total supply is. But you could have some dude just hoarding a fuck ton of stickers, not applying them, and you wouldn't know any better. That's why I like the stickers as a pure rotation play. Hold the stickers until they get discontinued, sell the news, get the fuck out. The super standouts, you can hold a few of them, but make sure you get your initial capital back in which you put into it when you started. Let the house money ride, that way you are not susceptible to FOMO, right? If it goes up, cool, you have a couple in the back seat ready to go. If it goes down, you won't be kicking yourself over it because you're good. You already got your money. Those are free rides. And you won't be wishing that you sold 2 weeks earlier. The line that everyone sees going down on the market cap, that's all it is. A line. Market can go up, down, sideways, to the left. I don't give a fuck. There's always ways to make money if you understand the market more than the person next to you. You could be scared about bots and all this shit that everyone talks about to make you scared, right? We've known about bots for 1.5 years. They're priced in. Fuck the bots. If anything, it just helps with your liquidity. That way you could buy 100 cases from a third party and sell it off via arbitrage. The bots are your friend. Fuck the noise, think for yourself. Learn float percentages. Learn the guides for the good pattern. That way, when everyone looks at the ROI for what it is on a baseline level, you actually know where to go to redeem your stars and make the most amount of money. And that is where the opportunity lives. DE News China, tonight on stream, video tomorrow.